Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dina McFeeters, honored as always to serve as your associate minister. Our opening words today are called Come In, Be Among Us by Sherry Woodbury, and there is a part for you to say, so look alive. When I gesture to this side of the room, you're going to say, come in. Want to try that? Come in. Excellent. When I gesture to this side of the room, you're going to say, be among us. Try that. Be among us. Beautiful. Here we go. To all who are yearning for community, come in. Be among us. Oh, I feel so powerful. Is this what conductors feel like, Tristan? Kinda, sorta. To all here who are just getting started, to all who long to go deeper, to all with tender places needing care, come in, be among us. To the ones who have healed and have care to give, for those who are curious and hungry to learn, for those who know that they have something to share, come in, be among us. For the ones who are just beginning to know they might nurture others becoming, to the young and the old, the innocent and the jaded, the fresh of mind and the deeply steeped, there is room here for each and every one. Come in. Be among us. Please rise in body or spirit to sing hymn 346. Come sing a song with me. We are delighted to have a new member ceremony today. There are many reasons that people come to join a new faith community. Some are new to the faith, some are new to this church, and some are new to church, period. Yeah. For 183 years, however, people have arrived here seeking a place to belong, where they could find deeper meaning than they can find alone. Today, we will welcome the 14 new members who just completed our Journey to Membership class, signed our congregation's membership book, and are now joining the generations of seekers in the First Church community. I'd like to invite our new members to please come forward and stand in front of the pulpit facing your new community. I believe we have 3 out of the 9 out of the 14 who could make it today. You know, people have lives. Preston, Tom, Beverly, and anyone else I missed. Beautiful, thank you. Dave?
Good morning. I'm Dave Hoover from the Welcoming and Belonging team, and it's my pleasure on behalf of all of us to welcome you all to our congregation today. We're so happy that you've joined us, and we hope you will join us for the social hour afterwards to meet some more of your fellow congregants and enjoy some coffee with you. And to all of our members and friends here in the congregation, we hope also that you will join us at the social hour and give a special warm welcome to these 3. You'll recognize them by, hey, where's your flower? You'll recognize these 2 by the flower. And everybody's picture is in the order of service. So our team would like to share our hope and wish for you with this blessing. May you find a spiritual home in this church, with new friends who are open to your energy, your beliefs, and your doubts. May you find support on your life path through the good times and bad, and a community where questioning is encouraged. May you find beauty, refuge, trust, and challenge here, a touchstone to help you hold, and a strong pull towards generosity and action. And now, if you would please introduce yourself to your fellow congregants and pass this along.
I'm Preston Carr.
I'm Tom Pelarzik.
And I'm Beth Pelarzik.
Perfect. And new members, will you now enter into covenant with the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee by reciting together the new member covenant?
We enter this congregation with hope and possibility in our hearts, pledging to participate in and support the ministries of this church. We will remain true to the spirit of love that flows through this church and to serve as we are called. We covenant to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another who seek the will as we join you in His faith.
In congregation, will you now please rise in body or in spirit and respond with the covenantal welcome which is printed in your order of service. Let us read together. We welcome you as once we were welcomed ourselves. We bid you welcome who come with your spirit seeking rest. We bid you welcome who come with hope in your heart. We bid you welcome who are seekers of a new faith. We bid you welcome who enter this hall as homecoming, who find in this people a family. In honor of faith, hope, and love that bring us together, we welcome you to this community with all our hearts. And let's give them a round of applause.
Brave souls. Got some brave souls amongst us. As we enter a centering time of spoken meditation, followed by shared silence, followed by singing Spirit of Life, hymn 123, I'd invite you to just find a way to ground and center yourself where you are, in the pew, in the chair, Maybe that's going to work for you by bringing your attention to your feet. That grounding of the feet on the floor. Or maybe bring your attention to your spine, how it's holding you up, how it's supporting you, how it's resting against the back of the chair or the pew. Maybe you notice the sensation of air on your skin brings you into the present moment, or how your breath is coming in and going out of your lungs. These words are by Teresa Novak. Come into this place. There are healing waters here, and hands with soothing balm to ease your troubled days. Bring your wounds and aching hearts, your scars too numb to feel. Rest a while. Let the warmth of this community surround you, hold you, heal you. When you feel stronger just a bit, notice those who need you too. They are here. They are everywhere. Weep with them, smile with them, work with them, laugh along the way. Pass the cup, drink the holy fire. Take it with you into the world. We are saved and we save each other again, again, and yet again. May it be so.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee. I'm Nancy Spranzi, and I am pleased to serve as your worship associate. We are a faith community of many identities. We welcome people of all genders, sexualities, ages, races, ethnicities, histories, and bodies. We welcome your mind, your heart, and your spirit. We welcome all you are carrying with you today and all your heart longs to set down. We welcome all the people watching online. So as we live stream this service, hello online people. We especially welcome guests joining us today. If you are a guest, we invite you to fill out a welcome card located in the pew rack in front of you and drop it in the offering plate that will come around in a few minutes. After the service, please join us for a social hour across the hall in the Leanhouse Common Room. Some accessibility notes. You can find hearing assist devices and large print hymnals and orders of service at the back of the sanctuary, as well as worship activity bags for children and anyone else who might want them. There is a fragrance-free area in the front right pews, and if you're watching online, you can enable YouTube's closed captioning on your viewing device. There are 3 announcements this morning. Applications to become a worship associate are open. Are you inspired by the stories you hear our worship associates tell on Sundays? Are you excited about making meaning with other First Church members? Do you want to be a part of creating our shared worship here? We are looking for committed church members who love making meaning and are comfortable with public speaking, from diverse backgrounds and identities. Apply to be a worship associate by March 31st. Second announcement, come share your creativity and kindness between services in the Leanhouse Common Room this Sunday as we make Valentines for friends in our community who could use some extra joy this season. You can help spread joy to others as well as lift your own spirit with art making and caregiving. And the last announcement, are you woke or are you fully awake? The First Unitarian Society of Milwaukee Immigration Solidarity Team will be having its first meeting on February 18th at 6 o'clock here at First Church. Join us in deepening our community partnerships, developing sanctuary strategies, and confronting tyranny. RSVP during coffee hour at the social justice table. I welcome you to share in our First Church worship and purpose by inviting you to join me in a unison affirmation of our mission, which is printed in your order of service. We gather to nurture the spirit, engage the mind, and inspire action. Every week, we have an opportunity to practice our values through sharing our resources. Our pledges are at the core of our spiritual practice of generosity. This week, we are sharing 50% of all non-pledge cash in our offering plate with Environmental Youth Collaborative. The Environmental Youth Collaborative is composed of 13 environmental youth-serving organizations that collectively employ over 125 youth each summer. The programs offer combined racial justice and environmental justice throughout the 13 organizations. Their programming spans southeastern Wisconsin, including the city of Milwaukee. The offering will now be gratefully received as we sing seated our children's recessional hymn, Let It Be a Dance, hymn number 311. I invite all children, youth, and RE volunteers to sing the first verse of the hymn and then follow Reverend Kimberly to the Leanhouse Common Room and then downstairs for religious education. If your child needs to check in for a religious education, please accompany them. May the practice of giving bring us joy.
We are, excuse me, in the midst of our month-long pledge drive. Please do not change the channel or turn off your radio. We have a couple of our dear friends here, Katie and Noel Cagle, to give their pledge drive testimonial. Let's make this go taller for you.
Oh, I love that you think I need that. Good morning, all. I'm Katie Cagle. I've been a member at First Church since 2015. I started coming after committing to trying out any faith community that fully aligned with my values. UU churches were the only ones I found that fit the bill. As someone who grew up in a traditional Christian church, I was comforted by the format and the sanctuary space as something that felt familiar. But it was the things that were different that prompted me to join. The beautiful music, the commitment to social justice, an Easter service that wasn't centered on crucifixion, the flower communion, and the moving spring service where youth declare their beliefs.
I'm Noel Cagle. I am not a member of First Church. I did not grow up in a faith community, and I'm here because Katie makes me. Or at least that's how it started. Now our 3-year-old daughter, Athena, also makes me because Sunday is church day. She and our 1-year-old son, Aristotle, associate church with Miss Cecilia and Miss Mariah downstairs. And saying hello to Reverend Jen and Reverend Dina on our way out of the sanctuary. For now, that's it, but soon they will associate it with other adults and more kids and the lessons they learn about being a good human. And even though I may not have chosen to be here on my own, it still feels weird to say I go to church. I'm still genuinely impressed and privileged to be associated with a group of people who operate so intentionally. It is important that this place exists.
I agree it's important this place exists, and I'm happy to do the you-you-y things for us both. Owl teacher, theme circles, Buddhist study group. There is so much to offer wherever a person is on their spiritual journey, even if, like Noel, you don't even know you're on a spiritual journey. But it is a bright spot in our marriage to know that our tiny humans will one day be in community with a group full of grown-ups who will lift them up for their beliefs, even if they are wildly different than their own. This is why we give. This is why we hope you will give.
Thank you so much. We love having Athena and Aristotle in our midst. So we have pledge team members who are going to be in the Leanhouse Common Room during our social hour, available to answer any questions you have about pledging and to help you submit your pledge. Surprise, surprise. Our goal is for everyone to participate somehow in supporting our community this year, however you can do that, and to consider whether you can increase your pledge by 2, 4, 6, or 8%. And every single one of our voluntary contributions are important. So please also contribute your piece of the puzzle to our Pledge Drive project, which is a beautiful original piece of art, a mural of a flaming chalice made by one of our members, Pat Hidson. And think to yourself about how does this community light your internal flame, and how do you fan the flame of our community. So stop by and help us complete the art project by sharing what this community means to you.
Recently, my husband Dick went to pick something up at the pharmacy. The clerk asked, "What's your name? What's your birth date? And are you the guy on the billboard?" A couple of weeks ago, Dick and I attended a Sierra Club presentation at Marquette University. We didn't know anyone in the audience. Just before the presentation was to begin, a young man came up to us and asked, "Are you the couple on the billboard?" Of course, we had to say yes. My husband and I have lived at Harwood Place, a senior residence in Wauwatosa, for 7 years. We didn't know anyone there when we moved in. A couple of years ago, Harwood's administration announced a new marketing project that would include photos and statements of residents. Those who were interested were interviewed, and a few were chosen for a photo session. Sometime later, our faces appeared on a billboard advertising Harwood Place. It's at the corner of 55th and Wisconsin. It is big. And it's very hard to miss. We have had several people recognize us and acknowledge our presence on that corner. It has been fun, but a little embarrassing to be seen so publicly. Our photo has also appeared in the playbills at the Rep and in Milwaukee Magazine. Being recognized this way has meant we know we belong at Harwood. Fortunately, belonging does not always have to be so dramatic. The other place in my life where I have wanted to belong is here at First Church. I have been a member for 40 years. When I joined the church, it was in disarray. after a long-term minister who was an excellent preacher, but not especially good at organizational stuff. And he was followed by a very short-term minister. When my first husband and I came here, we felt at home right away because we found we had friends here. I kept expecting on a Sunday when I would know no one, but that never happened. Because we felt at home, we both jumped into volunteering. I helped form a membership committee, and Tom became the treasurer. Because I have continued to feel so comfortable and at home here, I have never stopped volunteering. With each new opportunity, I have gained friends. Being on the board of trustees, a pastoral care associate, leading chalice circles, and then theme circles have made me feel a special part of this community. Then a couple of years ago, I was feeling a little detached, even unrecognized. I was wondering whether I was experiencing ageism, or whether it was because many of my friends had left First Church for a variety of reasons, or whether most of my friends were at the other church service. I wondered what to do about my feeling of not quite belonging. Then I received an invitation to become a worship associate. It was exactly what I needed to regain my feeling of belonging. And here I am, up in front of the congregation, telling you stories about my life. You never know where you might see my face the next time. I hope my stories play a small part in helping you feel belonging. You don't need your face on a billboard to belong. Just jump in and lend a hand. For sure, you'll make new friends, and we never know when we might need each other.
moments when I knew I did not belong. My friend was showing me her new engagement ring. I looked at her with astonishment and disbelief. Others in our friend group were gathering around, oohing and awing over the ring. I said, "How can you know you want to marry this guy? We're only in 8th grade." I had that unsettling feeling that I did not truly belong with my peers in that gaggle of boy-crazy 14-year-olds. Attending Young Life Group in high school, reading the hip paperback version of the New Testament called Good News, asking question after question about Jesus and why the scripture said what it did. Finally, the adult leader told me, "Dina, that's the way it is, because that's the way it is." I didn't go back. Running into one of my college roommates after I had moved off campus. "Come on in, Dina, we're about to snort some coke." No thanks, not for me. I guess I don't really belong with you anymore. A few years later, coming out to discover that I was too feminine for the dykes and too dykey for the straight women. Where did I belong? Weekly worship at the liberal Christian seminary where I earned my MDiv in preparation for ministry. Opening the hymnal one week to sing a familiar hymn from my Unitarian childhood, then startled to find that someone had changed all the words. What am I singing? Some of this feels like home, and some of this feels foreign. It took me a while to realize that they had the words first, and the Unitarians changed the lyrics later. Attending my first ecumenical clergy meeting in the rural town where I served my first parish to find that all the ministers except me were older, white men with white beards, I honestly could not tell them apart. Where do I fit? Who are my people? How do I know I belong? When we are searching for a place to put down roots, when we are seeking community to counteract our existential loneliness, we come with questions about belonging. Do my values align here? Can I be myself here? Will I be able to connect with others? Will this be home? Will they hold me when I falter? Will this community challenge me in a good way and help me grow? Will they harbor me when I'm in danger? We may come with questions like, will I be the only person of color in a sea of white people? Will I be the only trans person in a room full of cisgender people? Will I be the only queer person in a room of straight folks? Will I be the only person in my 20s or 30s in a church full of people over the age of 60? Will I be the only immigrant in a room full of citizens? Finding belonging is a central hope when we explore any new community, even if we can't articulate that. And belonging takes time. Allowing ourselves to know and to be known deeply takes time and intentional vulnerability. Belonging is a process that changes as we change and as our community changes. Simone Weil wrote, "To be rooted is perhaps the most important and least recognized need of the human soul." A human being has roots by virtue of their real, active, and natural participation in the life of a community, which preserves in living shape certain particular treasures of the past, and certain particular expectations of the future. The future. We can't do things like we've always done them and expect to grow and thrive as a community. We have to be open to new ideas and new ways and new songs and new people. One of our congregation's ends or goal statement states that we create accessible, courageous, and innovative welcome to people who might feel that they're looking for a sense of belonging and a spiritual home with us. Now, we could spend hours unpacking those three important words: courageous, accessible, and innovative. I think a phrase that might encompass them all is radical welcome. What is radical welcome? Episcopal Chaplain Stephanie Spellers defines radical welcome as a fundamental spiritual practice that combines welcome and hospitality with a clear awareness of power and patterns of inclusion and exclusion. She writes, "Welcome says, come in, sit down, stay a while. We are honored to have you." It also says, the door is open, a bit like, you're welcome to whatever's in the fridge. It indicates that openness of spirit. She offers a teaching from Croatian theologian Miroslav Volf, who explores welcome more deeply in his book, Exclusion and Embrace. Volf describes 4 movements that comprise mutual embrace. Let's listen to his ideas on both the physical and metaphorical levels about mutual embrace. And I get the irony that it's me telling you about embrace since I do not hug people. So we're just going to pretend that I don't have fragrance sensitivities as I relate this teaching. His teaching is Act 1. We open the arms. Opening the arms telegraphs the desire to reach beyond yourself, to connect with another, to be part of them and them to be part of you. The act of opening your arms creates space for the other to come in. And then Act 2 is waiting. Waiting. Because you cannot force another to come inside. You cannot coerce. You must wait at that boundary of hope that the power of your vulnerability will prove compelling. Act 3 is closing, the mutual indwelling of the embrace, holding each other and finding yourself received in kind. In an embrace, the identity of the self is both preserved and transformed as you receive the other on their terms, in that kind of open-armed hug. And Act 4 is opening the arms again. Because the two have not melded into one, you may once again open your arms. And you can look at yourself and see how you have been enriched, and look again at the other who continues to be both friend and mystery. So where and when can we even consider engaging in such a radical embrace? We are living in a time of great fear and mistrust for good reasons. We are witnessing the storming of the Capitol from the inside this time. People at the highest level of power in our country are doing so many unconstitutional and illegal things, it's hard to keep track of them all. The wealthiest man in the world who is not elected is making decisions about who gets health care, who gets food, who gets housing, who gets their Social Security check, and who does not. There are deportations and threats of deportations. The international aid to prevent babies from dying and to stop communicable diseases has been suspended. You know all these things. We are hearing hatred spewed daily against Black people, Indigenous people, people of color, immigrants, trans and non-binary people, whom we are and whom we cherish. We are living in a time of intensified criminalization of people simply for being who they are. It is a spiritual battle to keep up with the news in this new year and not shut down, not sink into despair. Because as Reverend Jennifer says, sometimes it's about the news, and sometimes it's about family. Excuse me, I think I'm allergic to preaching. Or maybe it's the dust mites from 1892. All right, so I want to ask you, because I think we're all struggling with this. How and when are you taking in the news these days, and what do you do to prepare yourself to hear it and feel it? And then what do you do after it sinks in? I am not someone prone to anxiety, but I will tell you that I've found myself sitting on the couch in the evenings these last few weeks, reading my New York Times app in literal fear and trembling. Then I go to bed. And then I struggle to rise in the morning with hope in my heart. And I know better. This is not an effective way to live during a time of national trauma. I learned that in 2020, I think it was. I cannot touch the news app before bed and then rise a resourced person ready to raise my voice or comfort others. I need a new strategy. One of Reverend Jennifer's friends recently told her, "Don't scroll the news unless you are ready to pray the news." Don't scroll the news unless you are ready to pray the news. So my new strategy is to take 5 deep breaths before reading or hearing the bad news. 5 counts in, 5 counts out, 5 times in a row. Then 5 prayers after the news, prayers for those who are suffering the most. Then 5 phone calls to my senators and representatives on, take your pick, the most urgent issue of the day. Okay, only 3, but I'm working up to 5. And then I come here to our beloved and cherished community to be shoulder to shoulder with you, where together we feel the fear, but we don't cower from the bullies. And we don't feed the anxiety. We feed the love. We remind each other in 3-dimensional, real, authentic living what and whom we trust, and we create hope through action. Because you know, this goes way beyond party politics. This is about defending democracy. This is about defending family. This is about living our core ideals with each other and manifesting them in the world. Spellers defines the radical part of radical welcome as a deep, fierce, urgent commitment to some core ideal. Radical is getting down to the roots, the embrace of the marginalized, silenced, oppressed stranger, with the understanding that your life depends on this saving stranger coming to you and stretching your tight little heart. So who are the saving strangers among us and beyond us to whom we can open our arms and allow our hearts to be stretched? Speller's book introduces us to 8 radically welcoming congregations, and here is one of them. Grace Episcopal Church in Lawrence, Massachusetts, was faced with the most painful of dilemmas: change or die. The historically white middle-class city of Lawrence had shifted, and the children of the aging white church community had moved on. Members of the dying church opted to live, and that meant embracing their now Latinx neighborhood. From the beginning, there were concerns that Grace would become a Latinx church, that the new members would actually steal the church from their white elders. Oof. The Latino priest took that fear very seriously, however. He said, we have to convince people that no one was trying to take over their church and run away with it. Transformation came when white and Latinx members worked together to create and run several homegrown community ministries, and when they intentionally crafted opportunities to communicate openly and truly enjoy and respect each other's cultures. Eventually, the dominant Anglo community began to welcome the leadership of the younger, less formally educated, and less affluent members. Moving beyond mere representation, the thriving congregation now looks more like their neighborhood, more Latinx than white. The next transformation for them will be to continue to grow while nurturing those points of common ground between the community and the neighborhood. I remember one of our elders, Jan Gottschalk of blessed memory, telling me about when she and her husband Charles became members here at First Church in the early 1950s. They got involved in the thriving young adults group here, at that time called the Channing Group. But when the young adults started serving on the board of trustees, moving into leadership roles in our church, the older adults got angry with them, accusing them of taking over. Can you imagine that? Now we're like, please come ahead, you in your 20s and 30s and 40s, please take over our church. Or do we? Or do we? How do power and patterns of exclusion and inclusion take form in our community? What are our assumptions about who belongs? And how can we keep opening our embrace? Who is the stranger? And how do we keep our hearts open to being saved by each other in these perilous times when we are tempted to slam shut the door? What are the paths to belonging in our community, and how do we accompany one another along those paths of deepening connection so that we can root ourselves deeply and fiercely in our core ideals of pluralism, equity, justice, and interdependence, so that we can resource each other and rise each day with hope and resolve, so we can harbor the stranger with love at our center. And I'm not saying don't feel the fear. It's human to feel the fear. It's reasonable to cower now and then, especially if you are one of our beloveds who has a targeted identity. Just don't cower alone. Let someone you trust come alongside you. You may be surprised at how they can relight that fire of hope and commitment in your heart. Jan Richardson wrote in her poem, A Blessing Called Sanctuary, "You hardly knew how hungry you were to be gathered in, to receive the welcome that invited you to enter entirely. Nothing of you found foreign or strange. Nothing of your life that you were asked to leave behind or to carry in silence or shame. Tentative steps became settling in, leaning into the blessing that enfolded you, taking your place in the circle that stunned you with its unimagined grace. You began to breathe again, to move without fear, to speak with abandon the words that you carried in your bones, that echoed in your being. You learned to sing. First Church, we can be that sanctuary of unimagined grace. We can be those who accompany the stranger and each other. We can stretch our frightened hearts together. So may we commit ourselves to making it so. Yep, it's in here somewhere. Thank you. Our closing words are by David Breeden. Let's be the welcome we crave. Open hearts, arms outstretched. Let's embody radical welcome fully, embracing love. Let's be the welcome we crave, deeply hearing voices and hearts. Let's be the welcome we crave, enriching understanding minds. Let's embody the community belonging that we crave together. Please rise and embody your spirit and join in singing our song by Leah Morris, Listening. And Tristan, will you lead us?
I will. Good morning, everyone. So we sang this song in October. Leah taught it to us. We sang a couple times. If you're new to this song, just listen and join in. Yes, haha, listening, listen. And join in when you're ready. I'm listening. I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening. I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. My hands are wide open. My arms are wide open to see what I may be. I'm listening. I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening. I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening. I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. My hands are wide open. My arms are wide open to see what I may be. I'm listening. I am listening. Spirit, speak to me. I'm listening. I am listening. Spirit, speak to me.